This is the XP Pen Artist 13.3 Pro. It is the, wait, did you hear that? Oh, it's the smaller version, the 12 Pro. I'm going to be reviewing both of these today. Today's video is sponsored by me. Over on my website, I list out all the drawing tech that I've reviewed in order of my preference, making it easier for you to do research. Just type in brad.site and you'll go right to it. Also, full disclosure, the links on that site and in the description below are affiliate links. I get a little bit back every time you click on one of those links and buy something. That's how you guys have been supporting this channel for the last 3 years, and I want to say thank you. On to the review. These were sent over to me by the folks over at XP Pen. They're a step up from last year's models, the main update being the new laminated screens, something we've seen already in the larger XP Pen 16 that came out earlier this year. There are some minor differences between the 12 and the 13 Pro, but for the most part, it's just the size. I've reviewed a lot of these things, and it's good to see that the pens and the quality across these devices are getting more and more consistent over the last few years. These are pen displays, so there are screens that you need to plug into your computer and then you could draw on the screen using the included pen. Question, can I use it without a computer? No, these need to be plugged into a computer in order to work. They are just screens. Sometimes these are called drawing tablets, which can be a little bit confusing because we now think of tablets as standalone computers like an iPad or a Surface Pro or something like that, but these are pen displays. Think of it this way, if this device was a house, it wouldn't be the whole house, it would just be the garage. Now, a garage is pretty useful, but only if it's attached to a house or at least near a house. By itself, a garage is just kind of there. Now, an iPad or a Windows tablet, it has everything. The walls, the kitchen, the floor, one of those toilets that shoots water up on your backside so you get that extra level of clean. This is just the garage. In the box, we have the screen itself, the pen, a pen holder with extra nibs. Both of these displays come with portable stands, which is a nice touch. There's also the USB/HDMI power cords that you need to connect it with the computer that you're using. There's some extras in here, like a nice drawing glove. No, I don't do the drawing glove dance anymore. Both screens are full HD, that's 1920 by 1080 pixels, and they look pretty good, especially at this smaller size. The 13.3 has an 85% NTSC color range, and the 12-inch version has a 72% NTSC color range. But the real story here is the laminated display. That's where they reduce the space between the glass and the screen underneath it to increase accuracy and reduce parallax. That's the difference between where your pen tip hits and where the cursor appears underneath it. This is a pretty good size upgrade. These inexpensive Cintiq clones have really closed the gap in the last couple years between this and the 16 Pro that XP released earlier this year and Huion's lineup. Most of the pen displays coming out right now have these improved displays. There are two exceptions to that rule, however. The budget-priced Wacom Cintiq 16 and also the Cintiq 22 do not have these bonded displays. The screens also have a matte non-glare finish. I really like this. I like drawing on it. It gives me some extra grip to my pen. If you've watched my videos before, you know I mention this literally all the time. A matte finish is gonna dull the screen. Some people don't like that, but I love the control it gives you. I don't like drawing on really slick glass screens, even if they look better. While drawing, my hand does tend to stick to the screen a little bit, but that's what the drawing glove is there for. No, come on, guys. We also have 8 adjustable hotkeys along the side of both of these, and along with what's becoming XP Pen's token red ring. The ring is a scroll wheel. It's great for zooming and panning and changing brush sizes. How's the pen? It's pretty darn good. Their new pen has 8,128 levels of pressure, which we've come to expect, but now also has 15 to 60 degrees of tilt support. Tilt support is another one of those things that's always set Wacom apart until recently, and I can confirm that the tilt definitely works, but I don't really use it in my work, so it's hard for me personally to tell how well it works. The pens are also now battery free and pretty lightweight, and if you're used to drawing with a Wacom pen of any kind, it's going to look and feel pretty familiar because it's pretty much the exact same pen. You also have your pen holder here to keep your pen safe, and along the back is where it keeps the extra nibs. So let's dive a little deeper. Let's go to the drawing test and see how this pen performs. So the first thing I look for when I start to use the pen is I like to draw slow diagonal lines because that's where any wave or jitter comes out. As you can see, for the most part,
These lines look really good. Now, obviously, my hand is not the best way to test whether a line is shaky or not, to see if there's any wave. It doesn't feel like there's any wave when I'm drawing with it, but just to make sure, I'm going to use a ruler. So let's go ahead and draw a slow angled line with that. And as expected, XP Pen has gotten better and better and better over the last couple years of drawing slow diagonal lines. That looks fantastic. That looks really good. I don't have smoothing on or anything, so nothing's going to artificially change these lines. They just look really crisp and smooth. So it's really nice because a couple years ago on these kind of non-Wacom tablets, this was a huge problem, but it solved that. The other thing I'm looking for is, let me boost up this brush size a little bit, is I like to look at pressure and how well it responds. So if I draw really, really lightly, my initial activation rate is really good here. So if I'm barely touching, it is at least registering a little bit of a line with the tip. And then as I go and I apply just a little bit more pressure, my line gets bigger. I apply a little bit more pressure, it gets thicker. So it is really easy to hold pressure and keep the pressure that you're on while you're drawing with this pen. So again, this is what I expected. This is what XP Pen's been like the last couple years with this pen technology, and it just keeps getting better. And it's good to see it continue here like we saw it on the 16. So let me reduce the size of this brush, because the other thing that I like to check out are just how does it handle, really fast hatch lines and things like that. Am I getting check marks anywhere? Am I getting weird blobs anywhere? No. These look fantastic. So I have a feeling that this has really caught up with Wacom's pen tech in terms of holding pressure, in terms of accuracy, in terms of that jitter and wave that I'm always looking for in a pen. This has really reduced it. The other thing this pen has added is tilt and rotation. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but as I tilt the pen, you can see the preview of the brush changing. So if I start here and I rotate it, I can get a little bit of tilt and it can change the angle of the brush I'm using. This doesn't affect all brushes. Now this is something I don't use in my work, but I've heard people who love Wacom say it's not as good as what they do. There's also not rotation in the pen, there's just tilt. So that's another thing to keep in mind. But overall, I'm really happy with how this pen is performing.
Also comes with the stand, sets up at a pretty comfortable angle. There's one downside, is the stand really only has one angle, but it's solid, it's gonna hold up your display, it's gonna keep it in place. The pros, pretty much everything. I don't see anything here that really jumps out and would say, hey, I'm bad. I should also point out, I grade here on a curve. These are pretty inexpensive devices, so for what you're getting for $250 or $300, you're getting a lot. Last year, I put the Artist 12 on my end of the year list for best value and price, and that continues here as well. If we line them up against, say, the Cintiq Pro 13, which has the same resolution, same pen pressure, same laminated display, the price difference is huge. I still think the Cintiq edges out the Artist Pro. The Pro pen is better. It has better tilt, it also has rotation. The Cintiq Pro is using an etched glass display. That just feels more premium. It's probably gonna hold up longer. But, and this is a big but, on the Cintiq Pro, you're giving up all of those express keys. What you really want to ask yourself is, do I want to get a Cintiq, which is maybe 10 to 20% better? Is that worth paying 2 to 2.5 times the price that you'd pay for one of these? And the Wacom doesn't even come with the glove. Okay, tell you what, give me a minute, I'll go find the glove. Over on Brad.site, the website where I collect all my reviews and rank these things in order, I'm gonna be ranking these pretty high because they're really good for the price. And when we talk about cons, the only real con I see jumping out at me might be the screen size. 12, 13 inches, they're a little bit small. I prefer to draw on a 16-inch tablet because when you get a little bit smaller, it can be a little harder to kind of hit some of those touch points on your interface and things like that and tweak little things. I think the 16 inch is kind of the sweet spot, but then again, you're gonna be paying more for the larger size tablet. So those are the new XP Pen tablets. If you have a comment or question, let me know down below and I'll see you in a couple of days.